program that I found really useful, and actually I trained in it when I was working as a clinical psychologist in Auckland, is the Virtues Project. Now this project is Baha'i inspired, and it was put together by a child clinical psychologist and a child psychotherapist who were really concerned about what they saw was an alienation of young people from society, a real lack of connection. And as a result of that lack of connection, behaviours that were hurtful to society. And they recognised what draws everybody together, and it's the spirit. And what is the building blocks of our spirit? They felt it was the virtues. And so they put together the Virtues Project, which is 5 strategies. And the first strategy is to recognise that we all have virtues within us, and that language is so powerful to use to encourage people to know that they have virtues. So for example, when we talk to people, rather than having language that is very disempowering and discouraging, we use our language to encourage, to encourage people in acts of service or acts of caring or generosity or sharing. So it reinforces and builds people's spirit. It's also about recognising that there are multiple, especially for parents, but for the way we interact with people, there are multiple what they call teachable moments where we can acknowledge for people the specialness we see within them. And the third strategy is recognising that the need for people to have a sense of safety and belonging within parameters, within boundaries, and that these especially are really important for our children, that we set boundaries that are appropriate and that are in service to their learning and their growth, and help them feel safe. And if we think as adults, you imagine a world where there were no appropriate boundaries and we didn't know what was okay and what was not okay. Our children need that too. And the fourth strategy is about honouring the spirit, recognising the sacred, the spirit within everybody, and acknowledging it so people really feel they're listened to and they're heard, and there's a connection. Because I think one of the things that really is lacking in our society is people feeling they're part of something, that they're connected to others, that they matter, they're significant. And the final strategy of the Virtues Project is about the spiritual companioning, and different philosophies call it empathic listening or reflective listening, but it's a way of really listening to people in times of trouble and in times of need, in a way that helps them to access the solution, the wisdom within them. And so the strategies of the Virtues Project were also dealt with in the workshop that I presented, but I also use those strategies a lot in my life back in Australia, when I actually work a lot with teaching of Baha'i education in the local schools, that within, certainly in New South Wales where I live, there's the place in the weekly curriculum for religions to offer for half an hour, 45 minutes, their faith. And the Baha'i faith has been asked by many schools to also offer the Baha'i faith as an opportunity for their children to learn about the Baha'i faith. And certainly in my area where I live, it's been very attractive for parents. And we're a small Baha'i community, but we have coming to Baha'i education classes over 100 children, which is pretty big. And I think that what appeals is parents really want their children to have a sense of faiths that are, I guess it's preparing their children for the bigger world, and recognising their children may not live in Australia, or they may not grow up or they may not live in New Zealand forever. And if they want to travel to Thailand or Siberia, that there are different faiths there are different cultures. And one of the basic teachings of the Baha'i faith is that all religions come from God, and that all religion, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Hindu, that you are following the teachings of the one God. And I think that's actually been very attractive to the parents of the children, where we're not saying to them, this is right and you're wrong. It's saying, but we're all right. We're all following the teachings of the one God.